Hey you guys, what is up? My name is Sherry Shaw. I have 2 diamond accounts and we're building to double. I'm so excited. But let me tell you my backstory, because if you're on the fence or if you think you're not qualified, or I'm just going to eliminate a lot of your fears, okay? So I have been a truck driver since I was 21 years old. I had a little girl. I was never home. I was that mom that actually paid people to do my job. I paid somebody to take her to school. I paid somebody to pick her up from school. My friends and family helped me out a lot because I still lived in my hometown. So that was really great. She was always in daycare, and now, like, I started when she was very young. She before I got my trucking license, I actually ran heavy machines. And when she was still in her carry car seat, I was running an excavator, and I would actually put her behind my seat in the excavator. I had, those little Winnie the Pooh window coverings. I put those to block the sun, and with the hum of the machine, she would just sleep for hours. So that was how I made money. I was married at the time. My marriage actually fell apart because I was always gone in a truck. It is what it is, and everything worked out for the best. So now, when I found my enroller, I didn't ever think that I would do something like this. I posted on my Facebook maybe a few times a year. I forgot I had Facebook for a long time. I wasn't on any other social media platforms at all. I had zero knowledge. I was the type to throw my cell phone on my dash of my truck and not plug it in for days at a time. And so if you wanted to contact me, it was going to be through a CB radio. That's the radios that we have in the trucks. So I ended up being single, and I moved to our current city that we're in now. I was a single mom, so I had to find work in town. Still driving a truck, but it had to be in town. I was very limited. I felt like my hands were very tied. And so I kind of moved around from job to job, going from something to something better to getting laid off. And I was looking at another layoff, and I was actually sitting in my son's school parking lot, and I was actually scrolling Facebook. I ended up in this mom group somehow, and I seen my enroller, Jackie Daring, talking to some other girl about making money from her phone. And at the time, I was stressing so bad because I thought, well, if I can't make this next job work, like, what am I going to do? I don't even know how to apply for unemployment. Like, I was always working. And so I messaged her, and she messaged me back. She gave me a little bit of info, and it sounded like I didn't understand what she was talking about at all. And I was actually the type of person to be offended when she friend requested me. I had no idea what this was all about. So I actually ended up accepting her friend request because she did seem nice. And I watched her a little bit, and she was also a mom, and she was working from home. She was working from her phone. She had just gotten some crazy amount of bonus, like $20,000 or something. And I'm like, what? But I wasn't going to message her. So she actually followed up with me about a month later, and I'd done a huge transition in my life. Like, this will happen, over time, every 6 months to a year, you're gonna go through a huge transition. And so this was mine. I had just taken my very first office job of my life, and I thought, okay, this is it, everything's gonna be fine. But little did I know that an office job does not pay anything like trucking. Like, trucking money's up here, office wages down here. Poverty, I'm sure, is like not far behind that. I was like desperate. And so she reached out to me about a month later, and I told her no. And then she reached out to me again like a month or two later. I told her no. And then she reached out to me a final time. She says, look, we have business kits on sale. It's like, I forget what it was, like $60 or something. And I was just having a bad day at work. I was frustrated. I was tired. I was broke. And every week looked the same. It was brutal. And so I signed myself up. And as soon as I pressed that little green start my business button, I panicked. I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't have that $60 or whatever it was to spend. And I had a little mini heart attack. And I kind of dabbled, listening to her and kind of watching the team and I didn't really go through any training. I was just like, oh my gosh. When she gave me my first post, I'm like, nope, I'm out of here. I don't know what you people do. I don't know what you're about, but this is not for me. I will figure it out on my own. And so I actually never started my business for about 10 months, almost a year. And somebody else reached out to me. And again, I was still working that office job. I wasn't making very much more money than I was when I started. And I got to work. And what I found was, it was the craziest thing. What I found was the people that I had enrolled with, because it was a distributor sale, kind of like what we're having now, is most of them were still there. And they were all living their best lives. They were talking about making money. They were talking about being like whatever ranks. I didn't even know what was what at the time. And I was like, oh, so this is actually real. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, and then I got to work. I started listening to Jackie. I started listening to my team. I started plugging into their Zooms. I had no idea what a Zoom meeting was before this business. I started watching the Sunday night family calls, and something happened. I started to get some results. And with that, I started to get a little bit of confidence. And then I got some more results. And I got more confident. And I started making some money. And then I started making more money. And my team was growing. I had customers abundantly as long as I listened to what they were doing, but I was able to do it in my own style, which makes it really fun because we're all so different and you still get to be you. As long as you follow the system, you're gonna get results. So the person I am now, the person that is standing here talking to you with, nice clean clothes on, my hair, it's not straightened yet, it's still wet, but it's clean. I have false lashes that I absolutely love. That is my once every 2 weeks treat to myself that is paid for by my weekly bonuses. I'm not the same person I was 3.5 years ago when I was thinking about maybe talking to Jackie about this business. I was always in work clothes. I had actually no self-confidence. I had been in a really bad relationship, so I had actually no self-confidence unless I had my work boots on, and then I was untouchable. I was tired a lot. I had zero patience as a mother. I was a very angry person. I felt that life had really dealt me a crappy hand and I was just trying to do whatever I could do to survive with my 2 kids and give them, a somewhat okay life, even if that meant that I only got to sleep 2 hours a night. Because back when I first started trucking, I developed this habit. I would always be the first one there and I would always be the last one to leave, because as a woman truck driver, it was a little bit unheard of and I felt like I always had to prove myself until I built my reputation. And after that, things were a lot easier. But sometimes I would be out in the bush, and that's where I worked. I built rows out in the bush for the logging trucks. Plus I would go fuel up the machines that would cut the trees down off of the side of the mountain in the middle of the night. So I would get up for work at 2 a.m. I would go fuel machines. I would come back to town, get my gravel truck ready, hook up my trailer, grab whatever machine I was hauling that day, head out to the bush, work my 15, 16 hours, come back, fuel my truck. And sometimes I got in so late that it actually didn't make sense for me to drive home. It was better for me if I just slept the 2 or 3 hours in my gravel truck than to drive home and drive back, because I'd be missing a lot of sleep. And so I developed this way of not sleeping, and it continued on. Basically, I still do it to this day. I'm a very early riser, which works well if you have a team on the East Coast, which you will if you join and if you listen to the systems. It's such a different world. So that was me, angry, mean truck driver, mother never present, didn't really know her teacher's name, couldn't name a friend, didn't know their parents, to now where I am comfortable in my own skin. I don't drive a truck anymore. I don't even work for anybody but myself. I know my son's friends. I know their parents' names. We work together to, pick kids up and drop them off. And my house is actually kids central. They all come here. They all know where the snacks are. I'm always here. I'm always present. I'm always able to drive them places. My baby girl is now an adult with her own baby, and she actually was able to move back home because of the support that I could give her as a new mother single, going through a bunch of things. And I'm just really grateful that I get to be one of the main people in that baby's life. And to be there for her when I wasn't, when she was little. My son will never know me working away. He had a little bit of a taste of it when I was a tow truck driver. He hated it. And so from here on out, I'm always going to be present. I will always work hard for this business, but I don't have to go anywhere to do it. I don't have to clock into anywhere. So if a truck driver who had no social media skills thought it was a scam, was offended when somebody friend requested me, can make the switch and learn this and love it and be able to teach other people, you can do it too. I promise you. There's good people here. They want nothing but the best for you. The training we have is actually worth literally thousands of dollars that we can plug into every single day if we choose. And the support you will get is completely unlimited. It's been such a blessing to my life, to my kids' life, to my family's life, to everything. I have a lot more story, but I'm not going to go into it, but that's skimming the surface. And so hopefully this helps, especially if you have doubts, if you're too scared, if you don't think you're not qualified, you won't be, but everything is teachable. We will teach you everything you need to know. All you need to do is talk to your enroller, listen to the steps, do the system, and you're going to become a very confident and wise business person.